All right, so my name is Nicolas Guérin. On ACU, I was level design director for the world team, which means me and my team, we built Paris and all of the side content inside Paris. Right, so we were not limited that much by hardware this time around. Our first limitation was really our own bandwidth, so how many people could do how much work. What really allowed us though to do next gen is really improve the graphics a lot, of course. Then we were also able to redo all of the actual gameplay systems. So the stealth, the nav, and the fight were redone thanks to next gen. But also the crowd, we have more than 5,000 people on screen now, many of them being AI. All of that due to next gen. Also, we can enter buildings now. Buildings are built in a 1-to-1 scale, so entering buildings, exiting buildings seamlessly without any loading. This is all thanks to next gen systems. Right, so not all buildings are enterable, but many of them are. Almost all the landmarks we've built in Paris are on a 1-to-1 scale and made inside out. And for the standard buildings, it's about a quarter of them which are also made inside, but you also have underground systems, so catacombs and sewers as well. All right, so the basic logic we used for ACU was making sure we could give as much freedom to the player as we could. Before that, remember that navigation, you had to press right trigger and A to go everywhere, but you had a predetermined path. Right now, with right trigger plus A, you can climb up every surface, so go up to a up direction, and pressing B will make you go down and take every element. So you don't have, for example, to find a haystack to jump from a building rooftop to the street level. You can do that on your own. The same goes for the stealth system. We have a stealth system which was much more up to you now. You have a stealth mode. You can activate yourself. The fight, you have much more options. You can dodge. You cannot counter anymore. You can parry. You can dodge. You can strong attack, light attack. You can also make different choices in terms of gear and skill loadout. So you can buy new weapon upgrades, armor upgrades. You can buy new skills. So all those decisions and all those gameplay systems we made to make sure that players will have more freedom basically in the game. Right, so playing cooperatively were our first focus on ACU. We knew we wanted to make a co-op game. Now the storyline is a bit different. When you play in single player, you have the story of Arnaud, so that guy who becomes an assassin. It's really a Genesis story, and his love story with Elise, a Templar woman. Whereas in co-op, it's more the assassins versus the Templars. So you play with your friends, a story about how the assassin order is rebuilding itself during the French Revolution in Paris. Well, there is a connection. The connection is really the fact that both of them are set in the AC world, in the sense that the Templars, the Abstergo, they've built a DNA bank with blood bank, and then you get to discover all those stories, right? So you get to play an Abstergo product, which is AC Unity, and you discover people's lives, which are contained in these little droplets of blood. Now, the connection technically between Rogue and Assassin's Unity is not there in terms of characters, because it's set almost 100 years before that. But you still have to discover those stories to understand what's happening in the modern days. Right, so we do ship on Xbox One, PS4, and PC, and the three platforms that do have exactly the same content. So PS4, PC, and Xbox One. So yes, we make sure that all of the platforms do have the same quality. So we worked really hard to make sure that people who have an Xbox One or a PS4 would have the same experience by the final product. Right, so we decided to make only one city because it's the biggest city we've ever made, basically. It's at least 4 times as big as all of ACE4 Black Flag's dry landmass, which is really massive. So Paris is a huge city. We don't just play Paris. You go also to Versailles, the village of Versailles, but also the castle of Versailles during the game. But Paris is a massive city in which you have 7 very different and detailed districts. So you would feel like entering new worlds in time you enter a new district. It's still Paris, but Paris is one of the cities like Berlin or London or New York where you can live for 2 years and do something different every day, and you will feel like that in ACU Paris. So it's a one big city, but it's a very massive one in which you will feel like different worlds to explore and all of those stories beneath them. Yeah, you have to actually do retry points to unlock fast travels to actually have a new way to discover the world. Otherwise, we invested so much into actual navigation. We wanted to make sure that the navigation was working on foot, so you can go across the city. You don't have that many horses during the French Revolution, unfortunately, so you won't be able to ride them. Potentially, people were eating them. We're not exactly sure, but you don't have that many horses. But yes, you can also fast travel across the city, and you also have an underground system to make you go faster. Right. So many of the landmarks we have are made inside out, so you can also explore them at your own leisure. But yes, we do have other types of content we cannot really talk about right now that you'll discover after lunch, and there are way many more surprises for the players. So you will see them. Well, in Paris, you cannot sail that much. You have just the Seine River, and all the boats on them are flat and really slow. So it's not really that exciting. But with the addition of all the new systems we have new types of side content. We do have over 120 different stories to tell for the player. We have also the co-op, which is a huge part. We have different types of co-op modes. We have the single player, so we have over 100 hours of gameplay without needing any ship sailing in Paris. Right. So for the modern day storyline, what we did was take back into what AC4 was doing. So we're not talking to you directly. You as a player are behind your console, the console being more of the animus machine. And then as you discover what's happening, you're actually being yourself an assassin, right? You're playing with an assassin on screen, but you're being part of the assassin order yourself as a player. And the story you will discover is really cool. Thank you very much. Dankeschön.